This is WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio.
WEMF Radio. Listen to WEMFradio.com. WEMFradio.com.
Sweet.
Do you need a medical marijuana recommendation like I did? Do what I did. CannaCareDocs.com. Compassionate, compliant, and confidential. Go where I went, Mike Can, to get my medical recommendation in Massachusetts. CannaCareDocs.com. If you're suffering like I am from back pain, or maybe you have MS, post-traumatic stress, seizures, AIDS, cancer, glaucoma. If you're suffering from pain like I am daily, call CannaCareDocs.com. It's a much safer way to go. No opiates. You want medical legal cannabis? CannaCareDocs.com. Convenient. 9 Massachusetts locations. Peabody, Quincy, Waltham, Brockton, Stoughton, South Dennis, Cape Cod, Fall River, and Worcester. Also, I forgot, Seekonk. Also in the states of Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine, and coming soon to New Hampshire and New York. It's CannaCareDocs.com. Get your medical recommendation. Welcome, we're live, WEMF Radio, we're the Young Jurks. My name is Mike Crawford.
I'm Lauren Pespiza.
Lauren Pespiza.
Sorry, that was a little flamboyant, wasn't it?
And I'm Warren Lynch.
Shut up. I'm already telling her to shut up.
I know, right? Oh, man.
I just told John I'm only a jerk on the show, but that's not true. I'm a jerk on Facebook, too.
People are jerks to you, too.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, they're wicked jerks to you.
You know what it is? They try to, everyone wants to try to beat up the bully.
Yeah. All the trolls are fighting for first number one troll position.
Everyone wants the top dog. Bring it on.
Toughest gunslinger in the West.
It's not even about that either. I don't know. Whatever. We're serious on this show, even though we have fun every week mostly, right?
Yeah, I have fun. Serious fun.
Warren, do you have fun?
I try and have fun. Sometimes I have panic attacks.
Do you have panic attacks?
Yeah, we have like alt-writers on the show and like
yeah, that's right.
It's scary, but it's worth it, right?
You should have been here
Are
for
you
those.
worried about having a Republican on the show today, Warren?
Well, he's a pro-cannabis Republican. I'm kind of like on the fence. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, me too, I think.
Yeah, so
After
suspenseful.
with all that's happened, with all this free speech rally and anger. And,
I know.
and
Tensions
on all
are rising.
sides, unfriending people, blocking people, just saying, I don't want to look at your stuff anymore because I'm going to just go on there and get pissed off. That's it right now. We're still going to be talking about. There's so much to talk about today. We're going to be talking about insane. I can't even say it. ICP, Insane Clown Posse, and their big rally that's coming up. It's
man.
basically the same weekend as the Freedom Rally. We're also going to be talking about that. The Boston Freedom Rally, Mass Can Normal Boston Freedom Rally. We'll be there. I'm speaking, I think, Saturday and Sunday at the Boston Freedom Rally.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
You're coming. When I say I'm speaking, I'm bringing the Young Jurks up there
Yeah.
on stage with me. So
I'm part of the conglomerate.
Woo!
are you coming?
Yeah, I'll come up on stage. Sure.
All right, cool. So we'll be there, and when we're not doing the speeches, we're going to try to do there's an education village too, so we might do something over there as well. We can come hang out with us, and we're also going to be at the Greenleaf magazine booth.
That's
where we're
right.
hanging out.
That's right.
They offer the best hospitality,
Yeah.
friendship.
Those people are great.
We love and I get to pick up the new issues of Greenleaf. My stories to see.
Yeah,
them in print.
and even if you can't read them at the Freedom Rally, the pictures are great.
I know, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that. But at the same time as that, there's this Insane Clown Posse rally
Right.
in Washington, D.C. that weekend. And it's
It's not the gathering of the Juggalos,
It's
but
not.
it's
It's not
like a political gathering of
it's
the
actually
Juggalos.
them actually saying, F you, federal government, FBI.
Yeah, which is cool.
You guys are targeting us unjustly. Shaggy, Too Dope, and... what's his name? The other one?
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Harley Quinn.
Something J.
Oh, yeah. Juicy J? No, wait. That's
For their
somebody else.
free speech, they're being targeted for
They
saying
are.
stuff
Yeah,
on the
but-
internet.
And especially their fans, like you read about like and if people don't like ICP, whatever, that's a
Yeah.
shtick. They've made that their shtick, like that you don't like them, that they're lower class. I love it because of that. Like
They're Fago.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
having fun with it. And
Yeah.
and they treat each other like they have a code of respect.
It's like
among each
family,
other.
and it's like creative, and it's an outlet, and
And
yeah,
it's fun.
It's
a
fun.
way for these kids to, and adults to blow off some steam. And hopefully it's in a and a positive way.
Yeah, supportive.
Yeah. And, if you're a fan of any band or music or Hollywood star, whatever it may be, if you're a fan of anything, can you imagine if the FBI turned around one day and said, that makes you're because you're a fan of that, you're considered a gangster now. You're a gang, and we're going to classify you as a gang because you have a tattoo of that band on your arm, because you have it on your Facebook, but you're now classified as a. And that comes up in, we're talking divorces. That comes up in child custody cases. That comes up in employment checks. People are losing loans. All sorts of penalties because they've been labeled gangsters because they like ICP. I mean, we're talking about a music act, and this is the FBI who did this. The Federal Bureau of Investigation basically placed them on a list. Basically calling them. What was the word? They classified them as being a gang, basically.
Yeah, on the watch list of dangerous.
And ICP wants it to stop. They and I don't blame them. I want to hear, and I'm thinking about too, like, I don't know if this is happening in other cities. It just seems like they're focused on DC right now, but because the Freedom Rally happens that weekend in Boston, like a lot of people from Boston probably aren't going to get to go to it, or some people might that would, but. I think why not do something after too? I'm just thinking of that, like in Boston. Like I want to support Juggalos. I know a lot of them. Like
for real.
Some of the artists that performed at the gathering, like way back, Illegal. She's a friend of mine. She's like hooked in with ICP. She performed with them a bunch of times, opening in Worcester, and some other groups like the Hightown Records. They used to do their events, and they were ICP influenced, definitely. And they used to do their benefits that DJ Slim and Michael Malta, the King of Pop, we used to go out to, and they would honor us out in Worcester. Like, there's a lot of artists that have kind of been under that banner, you know what I mean? So it's not just like this one act. They have a lot of artists that they've signed, and ones that never even signed that just are influenced by them.
Yeah.
It's like their own genre now. Almost.
It is. It's a culture. And it's like, you can't just outlaw that. So I'm with them 100%. If we have any Juggalos, we definitely want to hear from them. And we bring up these issues. You hear us. When we start discussing them like this, that we're going to ask questions when the politicians come in. Like, we have certain questions that we always ask over and over every single person that comes in the studio, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Like, so much that
it's a speed round at this
we
point.
don't even ask the marijuana question anymore. If you notice, Tito Jackson came in last week. He's answered the question before we even ask about marijuana. We don't even ask about marijuana. They tell us before we even...
Yeah, they know our spiel.
Yeah, so... This is going to be one of those things. I'm with the Juggalos. Like, I'm basically, I have no tattoos. I'm considering getting an ICP Juggalo tattoo or something, just so that I can be classified, I guess, with them. I want to stand with them.
In solidarity.
I'm going to join the Juggalos. Like, I'm throwing down because, and I wouldn't have done it, but because of what the FBI has done.
All right.
They have inspired me to... and I don't know anything about being a Juggalo.
Let's paint our faces.
I want to hear from Juggalos. I want to hear why, what I should learn and what I should know about them.
Yeah.
Because, I've experienced it a little bit, and I never really considered myself one at all. But I'm into it now. Like, because the FBI on this is way out to lunch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I stand with them too. I think we should paint our faces at some point for a show in solidarity. I can't commit to a tattoo, but I'll definitely, clown up and get my face paint on and get some circus ready. I'll drink some Faygo all day, yo.
I'll be like Black Lives Matter on one side, and then like on the other side it will be ICP Lives Matter.
Well, aren't they going to be in DC the same day as a alt-right rally? Right? I thought there was a big clash.
I've heard something about that.
Something's going down, if I recall. So I mean, it's cool that in a way they're on our side too.
Hopefully, I think a lot of them are. But I don't want to speak like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right?
We'll find out, hopefully.
I just like this cause, that they should not be dealing with a bunch of BS. No one should lose a child because you're a fan of
it's music. It's entertainment.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Especially ICP.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, oh, you like Ben and Jerry, you like the cartoons. Those are violent, so now we're not going to let you have kids.
Ben and Jerry.
I mean, what is it?
Tom and
Jerry, excuse me. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry ice cream. Maybe they should have that rule. You eat too much ice cream.
It's violent ice cream.
Yeah. I mean, and then people might actually get mad, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm just shocked by and this has been going on for a while. When we did the Two Hotheads show, we talked to some, you know, different reporters that were covering it, and we're kind of covering it. But I can't believe it's still happening, like that. This hasn't gone away. That you know?
It's been years.
Yeah, so. This needs to stop. We have a guest in studio. We're going to talk about some other things today. What is our phone number? Does anyone have our phone number right in front of them right now? We have a new phone number.
Herbie, maybe.
Oh, Herbie. We're looking at Herbie. Is it? Oh, wait. He's pointing at something.
It's written on the table.
It's written on the table. I still can't see it. I'm blind.
Move your laptop.
Move my laptop? It's in front of my laptop. No, it's not there.
Oh, yeah,
oh
right
my
there.
God.
Oh my God! Someone carved it in. Awesome. You know what?
Someone like the Terminator just carving it into the table.
I couldn't remember the friggin' new phone number. I remember the
Yeah,
old
I don't
phone number
remember it
like
either.
one day, and this one, 617-903. 7464. It's kind of hard to read, though. I think they should work on that a little more.
617-903-7464.
There you go, if you want to call in. But before we do, we got a lot of listeners, too.
Yeah.
I wonder if we got any Juggalos. Do we have any comments from Juggalos yet?
No, not yet. It seems like a lot of cannabis people so far.
Oh, a lot of cannabis people here. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's introduce our guest. We got a guest here, too.
We do have a guest here.
He's got a tie on. I don't know if you.
He means business.
I think people can see that on the stream. He's wearing a tie. He's well dressed compared to us, right? I've been walking dogs all day. I look like, you know.
Oh yeah.
Warren, what time did you get up today?
Like an hour ago.
Yay.
Warren got up in time for the show and didn't think it was Sunday or something or what. I don't know.
I was 10 minutes early.
You missed the big show last week because you thought it was the wrong day.
Yeah, it was such a good show too.
I know, right?
I thought it was Friday, but it was Saturday.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. So we have a phone call. We'll take the phone call, but we're gonna.
We need to introduce our guest.
Ask you just to be quiet for a second, caller. Don't speak. Let's introduce our guest. We have a guest here who's running for U.S. Congress. He's got his whole platform in front of us, which I love.
Yeah.
I don't love every bit of it, but I love that he gave it to us. He has it right here. I think it's honest, and I like a lot of it. And we're not going to get to all of it, but because we're not, we'll probably have him back on to get to all of it.
Yeah.
We're going to get through as much as we can. He's running for U.S. Congress in 2018. His name is John Hugo. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming
Thanks
in.
for having me on your show. It's terrific.
And I love, we're already applauding you because I like the whole thing where you say you're a working class candidate.
Yes.
I am. I work for a living.
What do you do?
I'm a dispatcher.
Interesting.
Yep.
I am too, kind of.
Done it my whole life. Started off when I was very young as a cab driver, and
cab.
got to know the city very well, and then moved into the office.
Nice. Yeah, I work over at a United Private Car. So
Fantastic.
shout out to my dispatchers in the house.
In the house. Might I just say for a second, I think Insane Clown Posse is the best name for a band ever.
Oh, there you go. You should see how they dress.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who they are.
I keep saying band too. I think we should say act. Maybe,
Yeah, they're like a whole circus and shebang.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell you call them, but a musical act, I guess. But what do you think about this? You're a Republican. You're running for the 5th congressional district. The ICP. If you got elected for Congress, would you tell the FBI to cut the crap on this? Well, where would you stand on something like that?
The FBI has had quite a history, from telling Martin Luther King's wife about an affair that he was having, to actually helping organized crime murder people in Boston, as you know.
A lot of them.
Yeah,
and then put them in jail, like when they, the other guy,
Conley,
the animal, Barboza lied and got, Limoni and these other guys, put him in prison for 30 years, and the FBI knew that...
they knew he was innocent, that's true.
Their confidential informant was a liar, and that they were innocent, yeah.
But the fact is, they knew that, and they let a man sit in jail for 30 years, and these are supposed to be the people protecting us.
Yeah, that's
Amen.
the FBI. So you would say to the FBI to stop it?
Oh, first of all, what would happen is they would be called before a congressional committee and grilled, and that's where you get all the truth out. That's how that process would work if I was your elected representative. But yes, absolutely, we need honesty in government and accountability.
Do you support the Juggalos on their protests going to D.C.?
Honestly, it's the first I've heard of them. I'm sorry, so I'd have to know more about them.
That's their fans. That's basically their community. They they used to do, they were pretty big and controversial. Like their first big album, they basically got dropped by the label, and the album came out and all this crap, and they got banned everywhere because they're kind of controversial, and a lot of the big events they did, like the Woodstock event, didn't turn out the way they wanted to. So they started doing their own big event once a year. And like the middle of the woods, they get like Ferris wheels. It's crazy. Yeah. It is crazy. They have documentaries. I've never gone. It's called The Gathering. And they're a community. They all camp out for days. And it's called,
it's like,
community is called the Juggalos.
It's like Deadheads, but like ICP.
Well, I got to tell you, since the end of cannabis prohibition in our state, I have been to some very cool parties.
Nice.
That's what this is. They're all community.
Yeah.
They got they're pretty crazy too.
Yeah, they're pretty. I mean, they're very creative.
They spray the Faygo. They have this soda.
It's like Market Basket soda, but for Juggalos.
I'm wondering if they'll be cool if I'm with Market Basket.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty much Faygo.
It's pretty much
in
Faygo.
New England, all right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the phone number here again. We have a phone call. Who's on the phone?
Yeah, who's on the phone?
Hi, who's calling?
Hey, this here's Kyle up in Maine.
Hey, man. What's going on?
Dude, I got to say something about Juggalos, first of all. They're terrible people. Their music is horrible. But they do absolutely donate a lot of stuff to charity.
So why would you say they're terrible people if they donate money to charity?
In the battle between Juggalos versus Nazis, the Juggalos win.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for that.
They should be made illegal because they're horrible.
What about Deadheads?
Dirty, skeevy people.
What about Deadheads?
Man, the guy you got in studio or whatever running for Republican Congress talking about accountability in government, that's funny.
Oh, you're on a roll today.
Oh, man.
What a joke, dude. That's a good one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
So do you have any questions?
Guys, I'm looking forward to the Freedom Rally. I'm going to be sitting on a solventless extractions panel, hopefully yelling at people on the main stage. Rest in peace, Mickey Martin. Mike, you're friggin' awesome.
Dude, do I get to meet you? I'm so excited now.
You've never met Kyle?
Wait, I've met you before. Hi. Oh, my God.
Christ.
Is this Charlie Baker?
Yeah, I can. I think I met you once.
Yeah, we totally met. I know who this is now.
Do you have any questions for? Do you have any questions for the guest, John? I know you just threw that.
No, I care very little for what swine like that say or think.
Oh,
he hasn't even been elected yet.
Man, he wants to legalize marijuana completely on the federal level.
He's done.
Oh, you hung up? Did he hang up?
Oh,
that was not a ringing endorsement.
Well, it's
It's
he
like
lives
a
in
Baba
Maine.
Booey. We got tons of phone calls. This is like on the Baba Booey line. I kind of love it. Like that was an epic call.
Yeah, that was
Kyle,
really good.
It was a little almost over the line and rude to our guest, but I loved it.
It was pretty fun. It was pretty funny. Like
So everybody has a right to their opinion.
There you go.
And also, yeah.
Are we gonna take more calls? No, we're gonna take a break right now. We will take some more calls.
We will? Okay.
Yeah, but let's get to some more questions.
Yeah, I know we haven't.
He's got this huge platform. We got to go through some of this. Number one, though, I want to ask again. You already know the question I was kind of telling you about. The story I wrote last week, where one of the new commissioners was quoted in it. She's boycotting Roger Stone. A lot of people are boycotting Roger Stone coming to a cannabis convention in Boston because of a lot of the racist statements in the past. I also pointed out in the story some of the self-dealing, what I call corruption. You know, he's a dirty tricks guy who profits down the line from the dirty tricks. So want to ask you about that. Do you support that? Would you support a boycott of Roger Stone in Boston, coming to Boston?
Well, yeah, I mean, I support anyone's right to free speech, but Roger Stone is a controversial character. And, he's been in the halls of power. You'd think he would know better than to make statements like that, which, of course, I'm against. So, I mean, a boycott may be in order.
All right. Thank you. I like that answer.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think, because it's funny, what I like about you already, John, a lot is that you sit here and you answer the questions. You're nice. You just took that call. A lot of Republicans, I ask that question, they don't answer me. They won't say anything. They're not going to defend them. It's like
they just change the subject.
They won't answer. I sent out the Facebook messages. I got like 12 quotes for that story from local people. Not one Republican would answer. you just did. So I really appreciate that, number one.
Thank you.
A Libertarian did as well, Dan Fishman.
That's right.
Yeah.
And not the only one, actually. Matt Simon, another big-time Libertarian up in the state of New Hampshire,
right.
who's also with the Marijuana Policy Project. He also, said yes to the boycott. A lot of people are. I think that's it's good to see. I'm definitely. We've already announced we're with the boycott.
Yeah, we've been with the boycott.
It's obvious. We have some other stuff though, because I want to ask you about basically your program here. Your number one point. I was just like, oh my God, I love it. I'm just going to read it. Your number one point in the platform was taxes from Social Security should go into a fund and never be spent by the government except for Social Security payments. The program is only in danger due to bipartisan mismanagement. There is a better path forward. Can you tell us more about that, what that means?
Well, first of all, I believe it was the Reagan administration, they began raiding the Social Security fund and spending it on other government things. And they shouldn't be doing that.
Because they had a big surplus in those years when the baby boom came through, right? When they were peak working years.
It wasn't like today where we have $21 trillion in debt and every one of us in this room owes $165,000 and it's going up every day.
And there's a lot more older people living longer, retiring earlier, expecting to live on more and retire. I mean, the cost is ridiculous.
A promise made should be a promise kept. I'm counting on Social Security. Are they going to just keep raising the age until I have to be 106 to get my Social Security benefits? It's wrong. It's just wrong. And that, Social Security's been around since the Roosevelt administration. And it's a wonderful program, and we're a country that likes to take care of our elders. And I'm very nervous right now because about 17 years from now, it's going to go belly up unless they do something.
Now, this other one, number 2. I'm gonna just preface. I think it sounds good, but I don't know if it is good.
I'm not sure how we can reconcile 1 and 2, but let's continue.
Well, number 2, that too. And there's a lot of issues with it. I will never, as far as I see, I will never seek an increase in the national debt. The debt needs to be tackled immediately. I also feel that the U.S. Constitution needs a balanced budget amendment. It is unfair that we are saddling the next generation with so much debt. I mean, my issue on that is it seems like if we do that, we're looking at recession. We're looking at austerity.
Yeah.
We're looking at people already falling through the cracks.
The next generation doesn't want to be saddled with austerity either.
The system really is a Ponzi. It's a problem for someone like myself too that wants to be honest about this and cares about the world, because there's a lot of jerks like Alex Jones that just seem to want to blow it the hell up. They don't seem to care. When they say all this awful stuff, it can make it happen by saying it. But the facts is the system is really, if you cut spending, it could topple over completely. And is that really, imagine what would happen. Just answer that, John.
Let me speak to that point. For those who don't know, recession is 2 quarters in a row of negative growth. That is recession, the definition. Now, I'd just like to go back to the point. In this country, we once had the gold standard for over. I don't want
to cut you off, but I just want to go back to that point before we lose it. Recession, I don't think that's a good choice of words. Maybe I used it. Looking back at what happened in 2001, where we had to bail out the banks over $1 trillion on account. We don't know. We still don't know. No one's talking about that anymore. It's like amnesia. We just bailed out the banks for. We have so much debt in this government, and we have to bail out the banks. They made all that money, and then they had good Christmases after. They all still got their big bonuses. No one went to jail, and it's where I know how this system works. We're just a sneeze away from it happening again. And can we bail them out? What if they want $20 trillion?
Okay, so should I go back to
Go ahead. That's that. So when I say recession, I mean catastrophe, I guess is better word.
I know what you're saying. However, this debt is a time bomb.
It is.
We spend a third of our budget managing the debt now.
I agree on that.
Did you know that the national debt is 75% of GDP, and we're going to hit 100% of GDP very soon, which is a very dangerous situation. Now, I think everybody should have to live within their means. And we're deficit spending. We're spending money like drunken sailors. And to speak to the next generation, yes, it's not fair that we're giving these people all this. That money that we spend on interest on the debt could be going to education, to scholarships, to reducing the cost of health care. So, yes, I feel very strongly about that. And I think we're cheating the next generation of our country.
If you were elected to Congress and the banks came to you like they did, between the Bush and Obama years, the trade-off there for the presidency, and said we need trillions of dollars or we're going to have a catastrophe, what would you do? Would you give them the money? Would you do what we did?
Well, first of all, I don't really blame Obama. I blame Bush and Clinton, and here's why. Clinton deregulated a lot of the banks, and so did Bush, but Clinton said you had to give money to people that couldn't pay it back, and Bush just got rid of all controls over the banks. He was doing what, the backroom deals with them. And both of them together, that led to the great crash that we had. Now, I mean, screw these big banks. They control everything in Washington. And I just got to say this one thing. We've seen.
How do you screw the big banks though? Like they own everything.
I have a great idea how you could stop that. Let's get corporate money out of elections. Let's have it so you can only have personal donations to candidates and get money out of elections altogether.
How much can we give though? How
about $1,000? That seems within bounds of reason.
Okay. And you're going to ban free speech for corporations, basically.
They say that it's a ban of free speech, but I don't think it is. I think they're just couching it in those terms.
Jail when they try to lobby. I mean, we're going to get rid of all the lobbyists.
Lobbying is a slightly different issue. But I would like to get corporate money out of campaigns because it always leads to corruption. Because if you give me money, then when the vote comes up, that might not be in the interest of the people. I'm going to remember that money you gave me, and it's going to influence my vote more than an individual's money might influence the vote. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and an individual right now can only give $2,700, but a corporation can give unlimited.
Well, there you go. Therein lies the problem.
We have a phone call. Is the phone call still there, Herb? Yeah, we'll take it now. Who's on the phone?
Hey, this is Jesse from the Cape.
Jesse?
Yeah.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. You got a question for our guest here, John Hugo? Do you have a question, Jesse? Can you hear me, Jesse?
Jesse, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we lost Jesse.
Yeah.
Maybe our phone lines are acting up. But you gotta, John. When we got callers, you should put the headphones on so you can hear them.
On?
Yeah. So it's funny. I'm like stuttering now. I'm like, didn't we tell John? We're like so focused on ourselves. We never even told John that he's got headphones put on.
Oh my God! I know. I just realized.
I feel like we're really kind of like.
Wow.
I'm tired. I've been working a lot today.
Me too.
Can I talk quickly about another government scam?
Yeah.
While we were on the gold standard, there was a 100-year period, I believe from 1830 to 1930, where a dollar absolutely did not change in value. A dollar bought what it did in 1830, the same thing it bought in 1930. Since we went off the gold standard and started printing money, the dollar has been worth less every single year. It's out of control right now.
Is the gold standard the answer, though? I mean, because it seems like you can't even do that now. Gold's so expensive.
It's just we could have a standard, and it's so bad in Japan right now. They actually have what's called negative interest, where you have to pay the bank to keep
forever.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I started in the financial industry. I've been out of that industry for so long. I was in there for a while, and it was zero then. Like when I started, let me tell you something. What's one of the things I talked about, in the old show a lot was alternative monetary systems.
Bitcoin.
Which is Bitcoin is one example. But I think there are even better ones out there where we could be more community-oriented, where we could have community, state, local banking, community coins, where we could have Cambridge, Boston currency that we could use locally and use that money to leverage to lend locally. Small-time microloans to small-time local businesses, finance our own community. Like, would you be more interested in that? Would you support stuff like that? Because it seems like the federal side doesn't want that at all. They don't want any competition to the dollar.
I think that what's going on right now is a scam. I mean, they're just printing money. This is a true story. I was eating lunch with a lady friend of mine, and she spoke Chinese. And Elizabeth Warren was sitting in the same restaurant. We were the only other people in the restaurant was Senator Warren and me and my lady friend. And we weren't speaking in English, so she was ignoring us. And she was talking about paying off the debt would be easy. We just print more money.
Yeah.
So, and that, of course, will destroy the value of the dollar.
That's kind of the goal. It's that's the game. But how long can you print more money?
And the dollar will be worth 50 cents, then 25 cents, then 10 cents.
Is there an end point? It seems like the end point's not coming for us because we're number one. And all the other ones are even worse. They're on the same system. It's kind of a weird situation right now. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
We're just benefiting because we're number one.
We are on top, but I mean, China's hot on our heels.
I know. What happens? China is going to take us if they haven't already. So let's go to some of your points too. You're talking about. Actually, I wanted to ask you about the free speech rally. What did you think about all? Because we've been consumed by it on all sides. What is your viewpoint on what happened in Boston?
Well, actually, it was relatively peaceful, which I like. I'm all for political discourse. It's perfectly fine to disagree with people. I'm never for violence. I'm kind of pissed off about what happened in Berkeley because I'm not a fan of Milo Yiannopoulos. But isn't college where you go to hear a difference of opinion? A better example, there's a wonderful activist named Ayan Ali Hersey. She's against female genital mutilation. Now, what is wrong with that? And she fled Somalia, actually got elected in the Netherlands, and then she had to come over here because there were death threats on her from Muslim extremists. She wanted to speak at Brandeis, and they shut her down. Now,
yeah, that's because she says that male circumcision is torture, and she says that there's a Jewish conspiracy to cut off men's penises.
I never heard that.
That female.
We're gonna have to look this up.
Wait, what?
We're getting into Warren stuff. It could be fake. So fake news alert.
I don't know. We went from gold standard to foreskins over here. I don't know what's going on.
Could be real. Could be fake. You never know with Warren Lynch.
But
she said that there were mohels drinking the blood of Jewish babies.
All right. I think we've heard enough.
All right. I haven't heard that. I'm personally a fan of the lady. But I do think that whether she said any of that is true or not, it's free speech, and a difference of opinion is something you should be getting in college.
But they're a Jewish university. They have the free speech to say, hey, you can't come say that stuff here, right? We don't want to pay you.
But somebody wanted to hear her, so why can't they hear her? I'll give you another example.
I mean, you can invite Gigi Allen to perform at your college.
I got to make another point, though. Why can't people say, I don't want you on my campus?
Okay.
Yeah,
what's the problem
exactly.
with that? I would say I don't want that guy on my campus. What's the problem with protesting someone? I don't see that,
Protesting but not banning free speech. I was there to meet Charlton Heston when I was running for senator about 15 years ago, and the students tried to stop him from speaking.
I'm pretty damn happy when we say no Nazis here. Like I'm sick of being tolerant to these people.
Yeah.
Like seriously, especially when they're making advances. And now they're going with a new tactic where they're like, oh, we're not really Nazis. We just agree with everything the Nazi flaw. We just think Nazi stuff's cool.
Yeah, it's all a meme.
We're not actually Nazis,
right?
We're just pretending. It's about frogs.
You guys, you liberals are really reactionary.
Yeah, right. The alt center.
I don't know. I like to hear a difference of opinion, and I have no problem with it. And I think college is a place where that should be encouraged. That's all I'm saying.
But what
but not Nazis though.
Yeah,
like, I don't think we have anything that we need to learn from Hitler. Like I just don't.
Or the Proud Boys.
I just don't. Yeah, or Gavin McInnes.
I mean,
you watch his freaking podcast for 10 minutes, and just like, Jesus, Jew. I hate trans. It's just all trigger words. It's just like crap. That guy's an idiot.
I married a Jewish girl, so I'm.
I know. I'm with a girl who's half Irish, half Jewish. I
think they're beautiful people. Yeah. They've made a disproportionate contribution to our country.
That's right.
And they've been oppressed throughout their history. They're amazing people.
That's right.
Napoleon was asked about Jewish people. He said that's one of the most amazing things he's seen in his lifetime. A group that has been so oppressed and scattered throughout the world, and yet remained a cohesive people.
Well, if Napoleon said it.
Hey.
All right, so I want to go to this last point that you made. You say, number 10, high political office has become the province of the wealthy. The working class have been marginalized. This is not what the framers of our Constitution envisioned. The system is broken. Let's fix it together. Love it. How do we fix it, though? How do we actually fix it, John?
Well, how about let's reform ballot access? Now, why does it take 10,000 signatures to run for senator? I'm sick and tired of going into the ballot. Last time, by the way, Catherine Clark ran unopposed. Why does it take 2,000 signatures to get on the ballot? Now, I'm organized. I'll get my 2,000 signatures, but why not 500 signatures? Would you really care if you went to vote and there were 10 names on the ballot?
Right.
So let's make ballot access easier for one thing.
And especially to the fact that, like, it would be one thing if they had 150 candidates and they were like, this is getting too confusing. We're going to have to raise the limits to kind of get rid of some of the, crappy candidates. and kind of, allow people to focus on, who's actually got a shot of winning. But there's no candidates. It's just like one incumbent versus nobody, or someone runs that has no shot of winning against them. It's like a two-person race, and they don't even debate because the incumbent knows they're going to win. They got all the money. It's like, what the hell are they doing? Anyone else with a rational mind, a business mind, anyone else who wanted to make things better would reevaluate and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should make it easier for people to friggin' run, especially poor people. Maybe we should. It seems like they increase the limit. Like the ballot initiatives, they want to raise the signatures. They don't want to lower it. They don't want to make it better. They want to make it worse, right?
Okay. Why shouldn't Congress look like a cross-section of society? Why should it be all lawyers and insurance people running our country? I think society should be reflected in Congress. And that's why I support that. Also, can I say something that's maybe not in my interest, but it's the truth? Why wasn't Jill Stein and Johnson allowed to be in the presidential debates if they were on the ballot?
Because the Democrats and Republicans controlled the debates.
Exactly. They said, well, it's because they can't get 15% of the vote. But how the hell are they going to get 15% of the vote if they're shut out of the process?
Right.
Now, I didn't vote for any of them. I vote Republican. I that's what I did. But I think they had every right to be in the debate. They were on the ballot all over the country, and it's a corrupt system. They control everything, and we need to open it up a little bit.
I got another question related to that. Next week we're having the guys in, I believe, it's next week, from Voter Choice. They're trying to get a ballot initiative on the state level to allow people to do like ranked choice voting, to have some ballot reform. What do you think about that? Would you support something like that?
100%. And I also think that debates should be mandatory. Another thing that incumbents like to do is not debate their opponent. Do you realize that Congress has an 11% favorability rating, but 96% of incumbents get reelected? That's a very broken system, if you ask me.
I'm giving Herbie a hard time now. He's leaving the studio. It's so funny. I'm just, if anyone's watching me and going, what's he doing? Like,
what's going on?
He keeps I don't know what's wrong with it. I feel bad now. Every show, like the last couple shows, every show he just coughs and coughs and coughs, and I'm like, finally I looked out and he's like, he just took off.
We got people calling in too.
Yeah,
whatever. We got callers.
Well, we'll wait. We got plenty of time.
I actually have a question. Yeah. What do you think of Donald Trump?
Oh, it's a mixed bag. I think he can't get out of his own way a lot of the time. I mean, he really does need to. Someone needs to take his Twitter away.
all right.
I think he's I do support his muscular foreign policy with North Korea because that guy's a nut job, and somebody points a gun at your head every day, says I'm eventually going to shoot you. You got to take that seriously.
Even if it's North Korea.
North Korea is a very scary place, and
I'm sure it is. I'm sure I wouldn't want to be there.
They have concentration camps there where they put your whole family in if you defy the regime.
It's terrible.
Kim is the only fat guy in the whole country. 3 out of 5 people are starving to death there, and they're spending all this money building nuclear weapons they could spend feeding their people.
We got a phone call. Who's on the phone?
It's Rod Weber.
Ooh, hello.
Hello, Rod. What do you got for our guest today? Or us?
Well, my question is, going back to the quote-unquote free speech rally there, well, why is it that with all of you on the right, it's always the complaint that free speech is being suppressed when really it takes the state to do that? I mean, you can't have a bunch of other people show up with an overwhelming voice saying that Nazis are not cool, even though they weren't technically Nazis. I get that. But I mean, to keep saying that repression
isn't that dishonest?
Doesn't make sense. Donald Trump engaged in actual repression of the press. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had my ass handed to me by his goons. That's actual suppression of the First Amendment. Why do you guys insist on calling what the left does with their louder voices as suppression of free speech? It makes no sense.
Well, let me say one thing about that. Hillary Clinton went an entire year without doing a press conference. The only thing she ever did was have organized press. Can I finish?
Yeah, but answer the question. That's not answering the question. That's changing the subject.
You're claiming that goons beat you and prevented you from speaking?
He has video of it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's terrible. Whoever did that, Democrat, Republican, or otherwise.
Well, and what about the fact, though, that I think what Rod's really saying is, when someone like Milo doesn't get to speak, it wasn't about the government saying you can't speak. It was about a bunch of people showing up and said, hey, we don't want you on our campus.
So they burned the Martin Luther King building center? I mean,
what?
Yeah, that was a building they broke the windows in. It was a Martin Luther King building.
But you're insistent that somehow that's suppression of free speech. It takes the state. You're
Yeah.
I disagree. I disagree.
At worst, that's a violent mob, not the state.
Yeah, I think it's a little
At
bit,
worst.
I think it's intellectually a little dishonest.
Yeah, because that's not like the powers that
be.
be.
Yeah, because I think people are missing that. I think people need
This
to
was
know
the people of Boston.
freedom of speech means the government doesn't get involved, and the government didn't get involved in that. It was the people decided, and every day I get censored because so many times the Boston Globe won't run my story. The Boston Globe will actually steal my stuff and rename it. I mean, this is what goes on in the media. I'm not just calling. I know people think I hate the Globe or whatever, but
I mean,
a lot of this media.
We all hate the Globe.
Yeah, who doesn't?
But you know what I'm saying? Like, they basically the corporations censor all the time. Why I was Mike Cann for so long. Free speech isn't free. I had a day job and I didn't want to lose it, so I wanted to do all my stuff and not have my day job ever find out until I was ready to leave it. And that's exactly what I did. I never talked about it at that day job. They never knew I was Mike Cann. So, people have that choice, and I think people should be aware of that. That's free speech. Like, you got to find your free speech where you can get it, but free speech isn't really free on the street. It's basically the government can't shut you down is what the Constitution says, right, John?
I would like to see a little more civility is what I'm saying. And who doesn't agree that Nazis suck? I mean, come on. What % of Americans do you think are really Nazis?
Well, you.
I mean,
you don't agree that because you're basically making these false equivalencies. So you're making excuses for them. You're saying they're okay.
I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth.
We're saying that it's not okay.
I mean, if you want to talk civility, don't run people over with your car. You know,
well,
that's like, you know what I mean? Like, don't. I'm not saying you would do that. I'm just saying this is the group we're dealing with. Like,
I agree. I'm against all violence. Of course. I don't believe, and if you disagree with me, I don't want to hurt you or harm you. I just respect your difference of opinion. There is room for more than one opinion in this country.
But if you're doing a drive-by shooting in my neighborhood, I might have to physically stop you if the police aren't doing it, right?
That's self-defense. Naturally, that's perfectly okay.
Earth to Herb.
So my second question was, you're talking about...
Yeah, we're going to get going, Rod.
What do you think of trying to get in contact with Satoshi Nakamoto or one of the other creators of Bitcoin to work on something with a blockchain in order to work out a better voting system so that cross-check can be gotten rid of?
Now we got rid of him. Now we get rid of him because it's
Rod rules.
Rod rules, but we don't have time for it. And I don't know if he could hear us. I'm sorry, Rod, but he was asking about. I'm going to go into a blockchain to protect the voter.
I mean,
rules.
I could have got into that conversation,
what
but
do you
I'm not
think
sure
about
that would.
Looking at some solutions like that to actually protect voters, because it seems like a lot. The voting issue is about disenfranchise.
Right.
People who are, have color in certain communities. Would you support something like that Rod brought up at the end?
We want to make it possible for everyone to vote. We want to make it as easy as possible. Needless to say, we don't want any fraud going on, but that's easy enough to do. So, we want to make it as easy as possible. That's how I feel.
All right. I'm already asking Herbie for my $15 back that I gave him as a tip.
Oh, why?
Because I was looking at him and I'm trying to get his attention for like 5 seconds, and he's looking down. Oh. And then,
he can't read your mind.
Awkward getting rid of the phone.
Right.
But then I'm looking, basically the way it should be is Herbie's like, I'm quitting today, and you're going to be screwed without me.
Yeah, we would be screwed without him.
That won't put up with your bullshit, Mike. Like, that's the way it really should be. Like, look at him. He's upset. Like, oh, yeah. He wants us to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't like when we talk about him.
Oh, yeah. Commenter said we should be back to talking about cannabis.
Oh, we want to talk about cannabis. Yeah, because that's, let's bring that back in.
Yeah.
That's also in your platform.
Absolutely.
You want to legalize cannabis on a federal level. I'm
actually an active voting member of NORML, which is unusual for a lot of Republicans, but I'm from the libertarian wing of the Republican Party. And I'm against the war on drugs itself. When I was born, when I was about 9 years old, we put about 200,000 people in jail. Now we put 10 times as many people in jail, and the population has hardly doubled. Something's seriously wrong here. Do you realize we put more people in prison than any country in the world, including China, which has 5 times our population and is a totalitarian government?
I know, right?
Charlie Baker's talking about raising mandatory minimums for, like, drugs.
I know, it sucks.
Especially, like, the problem was OxyContin and all that and heroin. What do you think about? Oh, especially if someone dies.
I'd love to talk about this. I support the Portuguese model. About 15 years ago, do you know what happened in Portugal? They decriminalized all small amounts of drugs, and instead of mass incarceration, they gave you rehab. Now you're talking about all drugs, like MDMA, heroin, every
whatever.
single drug. If you had up to a 10-day supply, you were not considered a criminal or a dealer. You were considered a patient. It has been so successful. Let me give you some statistics, okay? Out of every 1 million Americans, 175 overdose on heroin. In Britain, it's 44. In Portugal, it's 3. Now, if that isn't resounding success, I don't know what is. Right. This war on drugs is just led to mass incarceration, the prison industry, and a new form of slavery. Because while you're in prison, you can get a job where you work for $1 a day.
Right. So American flags, actually.
Yeah.
They'll make license plates in New Hampshire that say "Live free or die."
Right. It's so ironic.
So you voted yes for question 4, legalizing?
Of course I voted yes. I'm a member of NORML. Of course I voted yes.
To make sure, we like to put it all on the table. That's good. We like that.
We like that.
And so you want to just legalize it. What would legalization look in your? Would you want it as free as possible?
I believe marijuana is a medicinal herb. You should be able to walk down the street and smoke it. I'll be in Amsterdam in a few weeks, and one of the coolest cities in the world. And no one looks at you twice. You know, in Amsterdam, there's a weed place that's called Babylon.
Yeah.
And it's in the same building as the police station.
Oh, cool.
And people are outside smoking, and these very polite policemen are walking by and telling you, good morning, you know.
Like you're smoking a cigarette.
Let me tell you a quick story what happened. I was over there with a friend in Amsterdam, and we saw these 2 very polite policemen walk up to a bunch of young people that were smoking and politely asked them for their ID. They produced the ID, and the policeman said, "Thank you. We just wanted to make sure you were old enough to smoke marijuana." Talk about a culture shock.
Nice.
Jeez.
Very funny. Like you would, going forward in Massachusetts, like there's all kinds of concerns, about zoning and all these other things. Like even with the money situation in Massachusetts, would you be looking to tell banks they got to start allowing,
absolutely,
to take the medical marijuana money?
This is a major problem. Right now, what NORML is working on is very, very important to me, is that you shouldn't be able to get fired for your job for smoking a joint on your day off. It should be like, if you drink a beer and go to work the next day, they can't fire you. Yet 50% of all companies in Massachusetts still drug test for marijuana, and you can lose your job if you test positive. Now, is it legal or isn't it?
Right.
And you're going to be speaking at the Freedom Rally in 2 weeks, right?
No, I will be in Europe, but I'm going to speak next year at 420.
Oh, I thought it was this year.
I can't do it this year. I'll be out of the country.
Oh, so you were telling me something. It's next year.
Yeah. Well, it's early days. These are early days right now.
You're an early planner.
Listen,
I know. I was like, wow, that's pretty far away.
I've run for office quite a few times. You've got to start early. It's a big congressional district. There's 24 cities in town, from Winthrop and Revere all the way out to Southborough. It's a big, big area.
Awesome. We got a lot of listeners, too, right now. We've been getting a lot of calls. You want to read some of the feedback? Do we have any feedback?
We've got a ton of feedback right now. It seems like we have a pretty large cannabis community following right now. And so people were asking questions about that.
Rod Weber says New Jersey weed man is in jail.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
He needs to speak via Skype at the rally.
He also needs to be freed.
I agree.
Herbie's back coughing. No one can hear it except for us, though. I'm just letting everyone in the audience know.
Yeah.
We get distracted by our coughing producer. Even though you can't hear it, because I noticed no one can hear it. It's just us, right? Just me bitching.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm totally unprofessional. I do everything I'm not supposed to. Whatever. What else? We want to read some more comments. What are you doing? Juan?
Should Mass Health give out free cannabis to everybody?
I support medical cannabis, and it is more and more proof coming out every day that it is truly medicinal, especially for people with certain diseases, wasting diseases, for example. It is proven to save the lives of people who have cancer, who are sick from chemotherapy, and just can't eat.
Brian Riccio writes, Peter Lamoni was far from innocent. I'm talking about the innocent guy that Barboza put in jail.
Oh, man.
Peter Lamoni, I think, was definitely in the family. I think that's a fact, and I think he was involved in some bookmaking, but I don't think he killed anyone. I don't think he killed the person they said. So I'll leave it at that, Brian. But who knows? Brian always thinks he knows everything because he knows everything.
I don't know anything about anything you're talking about, so I think he might know more than me on this one.
Well, Brian's got the inside on a lot of stuff.
Yes, it's true.
By the way, my opponent, Catherine Clark, is anti-legalized cannabis, just so you know.
For a long time now.
Yeah, for a very long time, militantly.
I'm just seeing if there's any other comments here. Like a lot of people making comments, but it's not. What's our number? We've already given out the number a few times. Let me read it off the table here: 617-903-7464. Someone carved it on the table here. I love it. In a black pen.
Rod Weber wants to know: do you promise to give free weed to all if elected?
Well, I know I'm not going to make that promise. I can't afford to give free weed to everybody.
I don't think that's a good call.
Yeah, right.
The federal government should not be providing free weed to people.
Agreed.
Jesus Christ. You guys want everything. Grow it yourself.
Are you a juggalo?
As I mentioned earlier, I'm new to this.
Oh.
They're saying we love you all. They're giving us hearts. Can we confirm the number? People keep asking for the number. 617-903-7464. If you want to call in, especially if you're a juggalo too. We want to hear from juggalos today. I want to learn more. Like, will you accept me? Am I acceptable in your juggalo family? Now that I'm thinking about getting like an IC. Like, I'm seriously, just because of the FBI. I'm down with the clown now.
Down with the clown.
You know.
All right.
I've always been friends with some juggalos, but now I'm like thinking about like actually taking that step across.
This show's been a bit of an education for me, I have to admit.
I don't know if I could put on paint, though. I mean, I'm a guy who has no tattoos, no earrings. I'm pretty clean cut, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to put on paint. I'm not really that kind of guy.
You don't have enough face you have beard.
There you go.
It'd be difficult.
Let's take and I'm always walking dogs. I don't have time to put on face paint.
Yeah.
Let's take the call and see what's on the line.
Hey, what's up? It's Squally.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you guys doing there, man?
Awesome. You're down with the... am I saying that right? Down with the clown? Am I being respectful?
Yeah, down with the clown. That can be used, yeah.
It's acceptable.
So what's up? Tell us what you think. What do you think? You've been hearing this?
Yeah, I've been listening. That dude Kyle is literally like half the people I deal with in my daily life. That guy who called in earlier said that we should all be illegal because we're all scummy. And that's really like, I mean, that's really what started out this whole thing was, with the whole FBI making us a gang. The FBI had no idea who the hell we were until somebody heard, which honestly, I've listened to the song like 3 times. It's the worst ICP song ever. But the song where they say, like, magnets, how do they work?
Oh, yeah, that song.
When that song became like a meme, that's when, the world at large started to really know that we existed. A lot of people thought that we had died out in '99 because that was the last time like ICP was on like MTV or whatever.
Exactly.
So that kind of, and then just like everybody kind of like, mocking us and whatever. And then eventually we became like such a part of like public knowledge that that's when the FBI kind of like swooped in and was like, hey, these guys are like pretty scummy and they're criminals and, in ICP, all their songs are about killing people and blah, blah, blah. So these are violent offenders and that's, and now here we are.
Definitely. Do you have any comment on the gentleman running for office here? Did you hear what he had to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would ever vote Republican, but you were probably the least terrible Republican I've ever heard. So good on you for that.
Well, that's damning with faint praise.
Hey, I think it's pretty. That's pretty
legit.
Good. I think you're doing all right, John.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to be honest. I do believe in giving the people access, and I'm willing to talk to people that disagree with me. But I think we're on the same page with cannabis prohibition.
There's one right next to you. You don't have to ask me on that stuff. I'm talking to Warren. Warren
what's going on?
Sometimes he freaks me out. I'm like, what are you talking to me for? I'm trying to get a call going. Anything else you want to leave us with? You think I would be accepted as a juggalo? Is it okay that I join the juggalos now? Because I'm fed up with this FBI classification. What do you think about that?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I think you're an all right dude. Just, actually listen to the music and involve yourself in the scene. It's actually, it's a lot of fun. I bring non-juggalos to juggalo shows every time they come around.
Nice.
And like anytime I've performed with, like you said before, like the Hightown guys, I've done shows with them, and I always bring non-juggalos, and they always leave, and they're like, I wasn't really into the music, but you guys look like you have way more fun than like punk anybody, like any other, subculture of music. So, just be a part of things, and I do want to say, just for the record, the march is happening the same day as a Trump rally, as an alt-right rally. And the Juggalo March for getting off the FBI gang list, that has been in the works since before Trump was even like the Republican candidate, So it a lot of people assume that this march has become like a thing of like, oh, we're there to take them down. And trust me, if we cross paths with them, there's going to be problems, because Juggalos have always been very anti-fascist, anti-racist, all that stuff. So, there would be problems, but I just want people to understand that we're not marching because of that. We're marching for another issue entirely. But yeah, if we run into them, there's probably going to be a mess.
Awesome. Nice. Are you going on to this march?
I don't know. I can't, at this point, I can't really afford it. If there's any juggalos listening to the show that want to give me a ride from Chelsea to Washington, D.C. so we can do this, hit me up on Facebook or whatever. But, if I can't make it down there, obviously I'll be at the Freedom Rally hanging out with you. So
awesome.
Sweet.
I can't wait to see you. I want to get you back on the show too. Like after this happens, do you mind coming back and talking to us some more about this? Maybe play some
absolutely.
songs? Yeah.
Nice.
What do you think about the idea of doing something in Boston after too? Like, a few weeks down the road, maybe something in October where where everyone in the community, whether you're a juggalo or not, you come out to support.
The only thing that makes me hesitate about that is I really don't think it would be well received.
Right.
Both by juggalos and by other people. There are plenty of juggalos that really we don't want any outside help.
Right.
Because we've been on our own by ourselves, taking care of our things for so long that we don't want other people's help. And then also, obviously, it doesn't automatically mean you were going to call it that, but earlier you said it would be like a Juggalo free speech rally. Well, as of right now, in the Boston Common, the term free speech rally kind of has a negative connotation.
Right.
No, you're right, but I was hoping maybe we could take it back a little bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I do not.
Well, you're right.
I'm not blaming you for trying, but it's something that we would have to see.
Yeah, no, Squally, I'm glad you're bringing up all these points, because these are excellent points to that's the kind of thing. That's why we bring this up. We want to hear from people who are juggalos, who have points of view,
right?
We want to hear what's actually going on, so and what you're thinking. And that free speech, maybe we should not call it that at all. Call it a juggalo rally. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of sucks that free speech has that connotation now because of all this, but damn.
But again, I want to hear if juggalos would come out.
You mentioned the gathering before.
Yeah.
Juggalos have been having mini gatherings for years. Ever since the first gathering, we'll have mini gatherings. We'll just take over a parking lot or something. So we could have a mini gathering in Boston that you could help out, and you have connections that a lot of juggalos don't have to things like government and music acts, and you've set up obviously you've set up things in the Commons before, so you could definitely be very helpful with that if we just spread the word and get some buzz going about it.
Nice.
Thank you for calling in, Squally.
Hey, no problem.
That was Squally Greenthumb, I think it was. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Local musician, too. People know him. We're going to have him come on the show. That was an awesome call. Appreciate it. We're the Young Jurks on WEMF Radio. We're going to go in an hour. We're all squashed and pushing each other around and getting aggravated.
I know.
I need a break. Right?
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
Before I get nuts.
Mm-hmm.
John, tell us how people can get involved if they want to support your campaign. Any last words? What are we missing? Give us your wrap-up real quick.
Well, I'm a working-class candidate. I'm not a wealthy guy. I'm just fighting against the machine. And I want people to support me. I will have johnhugo.com up in December. You'll be able to reach me that way. I'm doing one step at a time. Right now, you can reach me at john_Hugo@comcast.net, so feel free to get in touch with me. I welcome you, even if we disagree on some things. And I think it's very important that we have more than one choice on the ballot like we did last time. So even if you can't support me, I appreciate it if you listen to what I have to say and make an informed decision. I'd like to thank the Young Jurks for having me on their show. It's been some tough questions, I admit, and they didn't pull their punches, and I can respect that.
I respect you came in.
Yeah, me too.
And handle it. I think you handled it very well.
I absolutely will come back if you want me.
Kyle was brutal. Was that one of the worst calls you could probably get for the first call?
That's par for the course. Okay, I don't believe that about myself. And if people want to hurl insults, well, that's because they don't want to have an intelligent debate, and that's all they have. So it's okay. You gotta roll with the punches. You gotta be a little.
People, I just gotta say, people are sensitive right now. Like we're all sensitive of what's been going on. Like, reevaluating. I want to just on the way out. Like we had talked on the phone briefly, and I brought this up that a lot of people talk about identity politics all the time, and they are always talking about the liberal side, identity politics. But then I look at the Republican Party and especially the Libertarian Party, and libertarians are like 8 out of 10 white.
Well, right.
And Republicans probably are
also
pretty
men.
Close, mostly men and mostly white.
There's no doubt about that. That's true. My opinion about race. There's only one race, the human race. And I don't think we should think of it any other way. Our DNA is 99.5% the same, every one of us. And science has proven that. We're all one big human family. And frankly, I don't believe in all these subdivisions. We should just remember that, and we should teach that instead of hate.
But what do we do about it since it's not happening? I mean, black people have all these different issues that we don't have as white people. And number one is how long they live, the cost that they pay for their insurance, their education of their children, whether their kid ends up getting attacked. You know what I mean? There's so many. Every step of the way, they have more trouble. And statistically, like you say, race doesn't matter. It seems like in that response, how do we fix that if it does actually matter right now?
Well, although my opinion, when I look at someone, I don't look at their race. A lot of people still do, and that's very sad, and I'm sorry about that.
How can you not look at the race? I look at the race now, and I say, oh, my God, I actually do owe these people because I've had a better life than them because there is a privilege of being white. There is no doubt about it in this society now. Like, how can you not look at someone and say, we're equal? I don't think we're equal. I just don't. I mean, is that...
Well, no, there are... Well, for simple fact, 1 out of every 3 black men will be either incarcerated, on parole, or on probation. So that would obviously mean institutional racism, because that wouldn't be possible any other way.
And the marijuana issue, statistics show that black people use marijuana less than white people slightly, almost even, but black people are 5 to 10 times more likely to be arrested for possession.
I'm also young enough to remember the crack epidemic, where the white kids would get caught with cocaine and get a 1-year sentence, and black kids will get caught with crack, which is essentially the same drug, and get a 5-year sentence.
How do the Republicans get more people of color to, how do they, it seems like there's
You know what's funny? The Republican Party started off as the anti-slavery party, and they were actually called the Radical Republicans because they were so radical. And as you know, the Ku Klux Klan was the paramilitary wing of the early Democrat Party. The Democrat Party also gave us Jim Crow.
But it switched over lately.
Well, it did, but let me finish. And the Democrat Party, as you know, did not vote for civil rights. It was a majority of Republicans. These are facts.
Right, but it switched. I mean, the Jim Crow now is the Republican, the prison industrial complex.
I'm a Republican, and I'm against the prison industrial complex.
The Southern strategy. I mean, these... right?
I agree that it's switched. It has absolutely switched.
I mean, are you kind of battling with your own party in a way?
Oh, always. In fact, I was persona non grata for a period of time when I was pushing marijuana legalization because they really didn't like that. But now what can they do? It's here.
All right. Well, we appreciate it again. Yeah, it was lively, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. This has been fun.
You got quiet.
I got quiet?
And even Warren got quiet during that.
There's just a lot of comments, and they're somewhat distracting.
What are people saying?
People are saying, somebody thought I was rolling my eyes. Geez, he doesn't know about the civil rights era switch, just,
Yes, I do, actually.
We got Steve, too. Steve says, you don't have to give fascists a platform to recruit. These private schools are not obligated to give equal time to fascists. I agree. But we're out of time. We have already done that debate, right?
Oh yeah, I know. And plus, weren't we supposed to go on a break?
Yeah, we are going to go on break. We can read more comments later. But I'm just looking at. We got a lot of listeners, John. You know what? You got to come back because you know what? You brought the heat. I think there's more listeners right now than when last week when Tito Jackson was on.
Well,
awesome.
I would like to thank Miss Jen Schuler over here, who's a campaign manager for me, who's in charge of a very large community. Can she just get a little word in edgewise?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Mass Cannabis community.
Yay.
And you knew my my friend,
Michael Malta. Yes.
Yeah, the camp
my friend Kristen's dad. Yep.
And his daughters.
Yep, his daughter Kristen.
Mm-hmm. You know Jackie too?
Yes, I know Jackie.
I was just on Instagram today, and she's still like Jackie was posting her dad's picture, and just I love to see her on. You know, I wish I got to see them more, but I follow them on things like Instagram and Facebook, and they're all about their dad, and I still love it. Like because I love that guy. He was the best. KOP. Everyone did. We're still talking about him. They just put up video. There was a Freedom Rally promo for this year's Freedom Rally with Mr. DL produced it, and who's in it? Of course, the King of Pot. I'm not in it. He's in awesome. It. He's in it. He should be though. Yeah, and Mickey Martin was in it too. Who Kyle mentioned earlier, our friend Kyle. But we're gonna take a break now. Thank you for coming in. And
thank you.
How can people? You're involved in the cannabis community a little bit too, right?
Yeah, I run a huge cannabis.
You got to speak right in the mic.
Sorry, I run a huge cannabis community group. We started a small club, and we all get together and have some fun.
Well, how do people get in touch with you?
You have to search up Mass Cannabis Community on Facebook at the moment. I will make that more public.
Perfect.
So
let us know.
Private anymore.
We'd like to have you maybe on the show too.
Absolutely.
In the future. We have a lot of phone calls coming in. We're not going to take any more right now. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to restart in like 10 minutes back on the Young Jurks Facebook page. If you haven't yet, subscribe to us on the Facebook page so you get all our videos. Make sure you like us first and follow us first so you see us at the top, especially when we go live here on Facebook Live. We'll be back in a few minutes with a new video, a new Facebook Live. So come back. We're getting a lot of calls. We want your calls, so call back in like 10 minutes. You don't want to wait on hold for 10 minutes. We're all going to take a break. We're going to let Herbie take a break too.
And me.
Yeah. And we want to thank John Hugo again.
Yes, thank you.
Running for Congress. When are you on the ballot officially, John?
It'll be not this year, next fall.
You had a long time. We're going to have you back on the show again, too.
I should hope so, and I think that this big reaction might bode well for me.
Perfect.
We're getting people riled up, right? And that's a good thing.
People are knowing your name. That's what's important.
And I thank you for that opportunity. I really do.
I know that you're not scared, and this is what I love right here. You brought your platform. This early, you got a platform of 10 points, and some of them were awesome. Like the first one, I loved. So, again, we're going to give you a round of applause for coming in and answering the questions. Taking the heat from Kyle Correa and Rod, like two major people. Both those people like major in their communities, and
I hope to win them over.
Yeah, I don't know if you will, but it just doesn't matter. You took the hits, which was great. All right, we'll be back. We'll be right back, right? Young Jurks.
CBDplease.com, your best source for medical quality CBD products, is proud to sponsor the Young Jurks radio show.
CBD.